Then President Tinubu, your next pardon, I have some names for you. You must pardon Lawrence Omajapo Anini. You must pardon Oyenusi, the criminal. You must pardon Shekau. Look at the joke Nigeria has become.
Could the recent decision to cut Maryam Sanda's death sentence to 12 years be more than an act of mercy? Because it could expose deeper tensions in Nigeria's justice system about clemency, public trust, and how we value life, law, and fairness. In this video, we dig into everything: the crime, the change, the backlash, and the meaning behind it. Now, it's important to understand how a decision like this even happens. Under Section 175 of Nigeria's constitution, the president has what's called the prerogative of mercy. This means he can pardon, reduce, or cancel a prisoner's sentence but not alone. A special body known as the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy first reviews inmates' cases, especially those showing good behavior, old age, or health challenges. The committee then makes recommendations to the President through the Attorney General of the Federation, who finally approves or rejects the list. To understand what's happening now, we must first remember who Maryam Sanda is and how she came to face a death sentence. In November 2017, Maryam Sanda was accused of stabbing her husband to death in their home in Abuja during a domestic dispute. The victim was Billy Aminu Bello, son of former PDP National Chairman Haliru Bello. The case stirred national debate because it involved domestic violence, marriage conflict, public figures, and emotional narratives. After trial, in January 2020, an FCT High Court under Justice Yusuf Halilo found her guilty of culpable homicide, not murder, and sentenced her to death by hanging. The judgment was later affirmed by appellate courts. Over time, she spent years in custody, Silesia Medium Security Custodial Center. Reports say she had already served 6 years and 8 months before the recent change. So this is not a new case, it's a high-profile one with deep emotional and public resonance. When the first presidential pardon list was released earlier in October 2025, Maryam Sanda's name appeared among those granted clemency, a move that immediately sent shockwaves across the country. Social media erupted. Civil society groups, legal analysts, and ordinary Nigerians questioned why someone convicted of killing her husband in cold blood was included among those receiving mercy. For many, it wasn't just about Sanda, it was about what message it sent to victims of domestic violence and their families. The outrage was so intense that the presidency had to review and withdraw the earlier pardon list, describing the inclusion of some names as procedural errors. What's the new development? On October 29, 2025, it was announced that the presidential pardon, or clemency, initially granted to Maryam Sanda has been reviewed. Her death sentence was reduced to 12 years imprisonment. This was not a full release, she will continue to serve time, but now under a long prison term, instead of execution. Additionally, the prior list of pardons was revised, some individuals removed from it due to the nature of their crimes. Maryam Sanda's name appeared in the reduced imprisonment segment of the revised list. Hence, she was not entirely pardoned, but her sentence was commuted. Let's look at what officials said about why they made this change. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, said the pardon list was reviewed so that only those meeting legal and procedural requirements would benefit. The reasons cited for Maryam Sanda's sentence reduction include good conduct in prison, remorse, her role as a mother to children, and that she embraced a new lifestyle. It was also framed under compassionate grounds and the best interest of her children. Moreover, the government said they had to respond to public opinion and sensitivities, especially because her inclusion in pardon list initially drew strong backlash. In fact, some had to be removed from the original pardon list, those convicted of kidnapping, drug offenses, firearm offenses, to assuage public outrage. So, legally, they argue it's a balance, mercy plus justice plus public interest. What do you think? Do you agree to this? Let's know in the comments. Moving on. This decision didn't come without uproar. When the original pardon of Maryam Sanda was published, many Nigerians strongly criticized it, especially victims groups, media commentators, and on social media. The backlash led to the removal of her name from the original pardon list, or at least a revision of it. This development touches deep issues in Nigeria's legal and political system. Power of clemency/prerogative of mercy. The president has constitutional power to grant clemency or commute sentences. But this case shows the political cost. The government's need for standards is now more obvious. They cited that only convicts meeting legal/procedural requirements should be included. That may push for clearer guidelines in future pardon exercises. Because one of the biggest challenges is when citizens believe the system is arbitrary or unfair, their faith in law weakens. This is more than a story of one woman's sentence. It's a story about how states reconcile justice with mercy, how power is checked by public opinion, and how laws must reflect both fairness and consequence. Maryam Sanda's reduction to 12 years will be debated for years to come, not just in courtrooms but in homes, media, churches, and public discourse. The real question now is, will this decision strengthen Nigeria's criminal justice system or erode its moral authority? What do you think? Is this an act of compassion or a dangerous softening of justice? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe for more info like this.